swing and a miss. Struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Don, what's up, buddy? You caught me mid-yawn. It's like, oh.
What up? Going on?
I need the excitement. It's been a long day.
Oh, hey, listen, Rich, if you needed some adrenaline IV'd into your veins, look no further than this afternoon.
Oh, you're talking about Kyle Gibson going 8 innings and allowing one run,
yeah.
And they can't get a win?
Yes. But I will say, Rich, I mean, it had a very climactic ending for what was a very impressive but like boring game because the
typical Phillies fashion. You score 9 runs last night and you blow the game in extras. Can't get the win, and then you got a guy out there in Kyle Gibson who pitches a gem. You can't even get him to win. It's what the Phillies do. Inconsistently consistent. And
oh my goodness.
That is what reels us in, Dom. It's what makes us come back.
Rich, before we go any further on episode 68, I got to go back to someone that you introduced me to on one of my first shows. We got to take it all the way back to the beginning. And we got to go to Uncle Jack.
You have to go to
Hey, listen to this guy. Tell me how you're feeling here. You're screaming.
I am stoked, baby.
You're screaming like it's still the game going on.
We're talking about the fightings here. The fightings.
Said, Mike.
Yeah.
So,
son. When Uncle Jack throws those eyes, you listen. It's the eyes, man. It's the eyes that either make you look criminally insane or just intense. And I'm going to say, Uncle Jack, I love you both. That's my man. Uncle Jack is a legend. It's like one of those fables in South Jersey. It's like, do you know said guy? And it's like, you do know said guy because he's part of you every time the Phillies play. But you're talking about the fightings. The fightings.
Yeah, listen, Uncle Jack is obviously internet famous. He's probably got his face on about 1 million T-shirts that he got $0 for.
Yeah, poor Uncle Jack.
Hey, listen, and if you want something, you can always go to the Drunk on Broad store and get the authentic said Uncle Jack shirt.
Very true. Very true.
Just saying. And listen, shout out to everybody, Chris.
Chris, what's up, buddy? Mike. Phillies baseball is funny. If you like, I don't know, Mike. If you like being drug along, I mean, I love the fact they got rid of Girardi because that dude just had no idea how to run a team. And it just showed you that anybody could win with that Yankees lineup. And at the same time, it's like I'm back, but I'm still on the fence because I still know what this team is. Like, get rid of Norwood because that dude is hot trash. He is so fucking terrible. I think he did get designated for assignment.
I think he did
because he was hot trash. I talked about him like 3 times on the show because he's a fucking bum. And then Familia, like he's so bad. He's so bad.
That and the puzzling thing for me with that move last night, and the yo-yo that game was, right?
Yeah.
They give up 4 in the first. And then they climb all the way back to 4-4. They tie it up, and then they go up 8-4. And at that point, I want to say Eflin had retired in the previous inning like 10 straight.
Yeah, because he was pitching well after that first inning.
And his pitch count was like in the 90s. So like I did that in all the moves that Rob Thompson has made. That to me was the most puzzling one of them all because I'm looking at it and I'm like, you got a guy that's kind of riding a wave here, circled the wagons after having a shitty first inning.
Ride until the wheels fall off.
Like today, right? Like today, you had Gibson who threw an absolute gem. And even in that one, like he gives up that one fluky, you rode him all the way until the end. Like, I just didn't understand that move.
No, you should have. He should have kept him in for at least another inning. Like you ride that wave. He starts getting hit around the next inning. Okay, make that call, but don't do the whole. Okay, well the pitch count's high, but he's pitched well. Yeah, of course his pitch count's going to be high. His first inning was atrocious. I think he had 36 pitches in the first inning.
Yes.
Like it was something, and it's like, yeah, a guy lets up 36 because he wasn't hitting his spots. He was getting hit around a little bit. He had walks. Like, relax, dude. The guy found it. He found it. Let things checks and balances.
Right.
It's starting to balance out. Let him go. Do not go to that bullpen. Do not put our weakness out there.
And
Knebel
is now not. They've already kind of come out to say that Knebel is now not the designated closer anymore. He's going to move. They're going to move Sir Anthony Dominguez into that closer role. They're going to put Knebel in more kind of cherry pick spots.
Knebel is a setup guy, but that's Knebel or Knebel, whatever it is. He's been a setup guy. Like let's be real. Like this was the issue. You spend money on these guys. You don't have that certified closer.
Right.
This guy's thrust into a role where, okay, this is a lot of pressure for a first-time guy going into this position, going into the closing spot. It's going to make you or break you. It broke him. He's not able to do it. Give him the 8th inning job. Give him the 7th inning job. Give him a role that isn't so crucial, and let Sir Anthony Dominguez close it out. Yeah, I'm all for it. Like, this is why I liked Neres as the closing spot, because as inconsistent as he had good stuff, and when he was on. And I would trust Neres on this team as their closer than anybody else on this roster.
Yeah. I mean, you don't
but
have
Neres isn't here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's if there's one thing that you can say, that like having that guy that solidifies the back end of your bullpen. I mean, let's be honest, every team identifies that as a need. Right. Right now, it's just something that they're hopefully by sliding Sir Anthony Dominguez, is you've seen times in the past where he's able to fill in that role and do it really well. So I don't know, Rich. I mean, listen, 10 of the last 12, they've won the last 4 series.
Yeah.
So listen, the only problem with all that is that as hot as the Phillies are, the Braves are hotter than them, right? Like,
and we're still 9 games behind, or 8 games behind the Mets. So that just shows you, winning 10 out of 12 and you're still 9 games or 8 games behind in the NL East. It's just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. Like
there's so much ground to be made up, and I don't see us catching the Mets. Their pitching has just been fantastic, and they smash.
And they're going to get arms.
Yeah, and they're going to get arms back. Like, this was the time where you wanted and you hoped, okay, you could pull within like 5, pull within like something. Mets just tank, but no, the Mets are breaking even. I think I saw over the last 10 they were like 5-5 or 6-5. Like, that's not going to help you. You needed them to lose 4 or 5 more games to crawl up. Because like you said, once they get Scherzer back and once DeGrom eventually comes back, okay, you're adding an extra 4 to 6 wins a month to that team if they have 3 starts a month. Because let's be real, those guys don't lose. And if they do, it's not often.
Yeah.
So
you're right, Rich, and even like to just look at the last 10 games, right, as a microcosm of how well those teams have played, right? The Mets were 6-4, the Atlanta was 10-0, and the Phillies were 8-2.
Yeah,
and the Mets still lead the Braves by 5 games, and they still lead the Phillies by 9 games. So like, you realize that like that attaining that division is not really a realistic goal.
No,
now at this point.
And this is when you play piss poor in the beginning of the season, and Girardi has no fucking clue what he's doing, is what sets you back.
Yeah.
You can like, I'm not saying you can come out slow and still make it, but you have to come out hot.
Yeah.
Like, you need to establish like a decent overall record. You need to win. What do we go, like 5 series in a row where we didn't win? I think we got like swept twice in those 5 series.
Yeah, right.
Like, you can't have that. You're just digging. Like, the Phillies, as good as baseball that they're playing, they're still not even inches out of that hole. Because they dug themselves such a hole that they can't get out of. And that's what you're going to see. Like, are the Phillies realistically going to keep winning 8 out of 10? No, it's not going to happen. Ebbs and flows. We talk about it. They're going to go some weeks where they're 4-6, 3-7, 8-2, 7-3. And the Mets aren't going to lose a lot of games. They can still break even. The Mets can still go 5 for 5 and still have a 9-game lead up on the Phillies.
Yeah, I think you're to bring up Mike's point, there's a couple things I want to get to, but like nobody's catching the Mets.
No.
At this point. And it would literally take an epic Mets collapse.
Which we've seen before.
We have seen. The Mets can Met like nobody else can.
They met all right.
So I don't think that it's like Mike's saying, like, I don't think it's realistic that right? But right, to look at the wild card, right? You're looking at the Padres, the Braves, and San Francisco and Milwaukee are all teams that are ahead of you. Now, realistically, you only have to jump Milwaukee and San Francisco.
Yeah.
Which, even in that case, though, Rich, as good as a clip that they've been playing, they're still 3.5 out of that final wild card spot.
Yeah, I know.
So
because those teams have starting pitching, they have hitting, they have bullpens. They're all around good teams. Just look at the divisions that they're in.
Right.
Like, look, the Giants are not clawing, they're playing well, but they're also in a division with the Padres and the Dodgers.
And the Dodgers, right.
Like, okay, we already know that, hey, Dodgers are going to win the West because it's the Dodgers when you have that much talent and that many arms on your team. That's what you're going to do. Then you have the Padres, who are probably the second best, who are going to get a wild card spot unless they collapse. I saw today that Tatis is going to be out another extended period of time because the healing didn't show significant progress. So he's going to be out for a longer time. Whatever, they're still playing good ball without him. And then San Fran, who thought that Gabe Kapler was a good coach? Wow. It's crazy how well he's been coaching that team. And that team has arms, and that team can hit. And they're fundamentally sound. Another thing that the Phillies are lacking is being fundamentally sound. But look at the good part. What's wrong with Castellanos? It's just one of those things, Adam. Yeah. It comes in droves, man. It comes in droves. When guys are hot, they're hot. When they're not, this is what you get.
Adam, to speak to that, like, look at Rhys Hoskins, right? Rhys Hoskins is a guy we got to talk about considering his most recent stretch, right? But look at that microcosm in comparison to how we were talking about Rhys Hoskins at the beginning of the season, right? We were crushing him because he had all these inconsistent at bats. He's swinging out of his shoes. He's taking pitches. He's swinging like that 182 game season in baseball is huge.
Yeah.
So to look at that and say it's not realistic to look at a guy and say he's going to have that stretch the entire season. I mean, Christ's sake, Mike Trout, who most people would argue is probably the best player in baseball, right? Just had a recent stretch of like 20 plus at bats without a hit.
Yeah.
So,
but then he's going to come back the next week going 3 for 4 with 2 home runs a game. He's living in Ben Simmons' house. He needs to promise him. It makes sense. Did you see the Draymond pass up the layup? And then somebody wrote Ben Simmons entered the conversation. Yeah. Draymond was wide open under the net, like 2 feet away. Same thing as Ben Simmons. Wasn't even looking at the net. Passed it out. And then I saw a comment, Ben Simmons has entered the conversation. I was dying. I'm like, oh, Draymond Simmons. I'm like, I see you, bro.
Draymond.
I see you, scared chicken. I see you.
Oh, my God.
But if Castellanos will figure it out. I didn't see the whole him batting over 300 and like batting 313 again. I didn't think that was attainable, especially with the pitching staff that you're going to go up against in the Mets and the Braves and, just some of these NL West teams. I think it's going to be a lot harder. The Nationals are really whatever. And Miami is weird because Miami's got a lot of good young arms. It's Miami. Poor ownership, can't figure it out. Traded away your best pieces for peanuts. And then Derek Jeter says, I don't want to do this no more. And it's just like, well, you destroyed the team and now you don't want to do it anymore? Well, that's a great idea. And nobody really wants to go to Miami for a baseball game. Who knew that there was like many other things to do in Miami than go see the Florida Marlins or Miami Marlins, whatever they're called now.
Listen, Rich, I will speak from firsthand experience. Being down there, it is not half bad to go into a stadium and it's closed and it's air conditioned. I'm just saying, Philly.
I mean,
air conditioned baseball in the middle of the summer ain't that bad.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying there's a lot more things to do and see in Miami.
Point taken.
That was I'm saying. But yes, air conditioned, that would be dope. But let's be real. Is John Middleton going to shell out money for anything besides a few decent hitters? Because, he still can't shell out like money for scouting and anything for the farm system. And again, why are we in this situation? Well, when you can't develop talent, this is what you get.
Right.
Like, I'm sick of seeing Ranger Suarez. I am done with Ranger Suarez because he is one of those guys that can look brilliant at times, and then he looks completely lost out on the mound. And I'm just sick of it. Like, I'm not a hole you need to throw 100 miles an hour, right? The dude sits at like 88 to 90. That's fine. But when he misses his spots, he gets fucking hit all over. All over. And he's been missing his spots as of recent a lot. Like his last outing, what did he get shelled for? Like 6 runs?
Yeah, I was trying to pull up the game.
Like what I need from Ranger Suarez is to move into the bullpen and be like a 2-inning guy or, move into a later role just because he's got the pitches. He's got a decent amount of pitches that he can throw to keep hitters off balance. But it's another guy, he's thrust into that spot starter role. You really don't.
If they hang in to this playoff conversation long enough at the deadline on August 2nd when that ends, if they add an arm in the rotation, which
bumps him out,
then he bumps into your long man spot starter.
They have to do something because honestly, you have to get rid of Familia because he's terrible. Norwood, thank God he's gone. I'm trying to think if anybody else in the bullpen. I can't say everyone because then we wouldn't have.
You can't say everyone.
Brad Hand's been good for us.
He's been good, but with him, the biggest thing is consistency.
Yeah.
It's that he has those outings when you need him to come in and be a shutdown lefty and get 3 guys out. He has times where he just rolls and puts himself in positions where he's not getting the outs, and he puts guys on base, and then he lets up hits, and then it extends innings.
Yeah. Alvarado is our other lefty, and he's been absolute dog shit. So it's just kind of you just look at the pieces and to see what you're missing, and to be a contender, it's just like, fuck, man, we're still missing pieces. We still can't figure out the center field problem. It's just the rotating door of a Dubel, Moniak, Vierling. It's just like, man, it's not even like it's a guaranteed out because the wife beater has been playing decent when he's thrust into that role. But I don't want to see him in that role. No. I want Moniak to figure it out. I don't know if he's going to this year. He was red hot, and then the injury. I think he needs more time in AAA just to get swings in under his belt. Like, he needs to play like 2 weeks consistently, get some swings down, and then come up. And Vierling is just terrible. If we could just move like Stott or Bohm to the outfield, we can say that we developed an outfielder because we developed them as infielders because they're pretty decent at infield.
Right.
Like I'll give Bohm credit. He's been playing well as of late. I think he's getting his head out of his ass. I like Stott. I just really wish that we could have hit on a center fielder or any outfielder because let's be real, all of our outfielders are bought.
Oh, but listen, they that whole Matt Klentak analytic section of this franchise's history put this team in its current state where they literally had to buy everything, right? And look at Rich, look at their bullpen, right?
Yeah.
They as much as we want to sit here and kill Familia, right? Like you had to take chances on guys. Like you needed to pick up Brad Hand and you needed to pick up Familia and you needed to have Alvarado in there. You didn't really have a choice.
We have, I think, one guy that was actually
somebody else.
Yeah, we had one guy from our farm system up there. And that's Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Right.
That's it. I don't think there's anybody else who's an actual from the Phillies organization in the bullpen.
You might be right. You might be right on that.
Which is absolutely crazy.
But it does speak to that point of like knowing that like we didn't really have an opportunity to be super picky.
No, we didn't, which I agree on. I agree. It's just it fucking sucks, man. It sucks that you can't like call up a guy from the minor leagues and like bring him in because just no one's ready or no one is, and which is really weird to me. So what's weird to me is teams keep guys forever, and it's just like, but they're never going to get called up in this organization or even given a shot. Why do you still hold on to them? Is it because nobody else wants them? And this is what I don't like about the minor leagues. Nothing against minor league baseball players. You do a hell of a job. You do that. But Jesus Christ, like if the Reading Phillies, they're doing this and they're playing well. If no one's getting called up to the majors, there's something wrong. Right. Shut down the team. Shut down the team, fire everybody, and start again. Like I don't understand. It boggles my mind.
The one thing, Rich, that I'll agree with you on is that I don't, for the life of me, understand the need for minor league baseball to be as expansive as it is.
No.
Like, I understand that you need places for player development, but I think minor league baseball seems to me like it's a, how do I say this kindly? It's a business model that businesses that go out of business run.
Yeah.
We always did it this way.
Yeah.
Companies that run businesses where they always do things the way that they always do them end up like businesses that are out of business.
Yeah. It seems so, and like I'm not, like you're saying, it just seems so outdated. It's just, we don't need a single A, a double A, a triple A, two different single A's, right. The Cactus League, the Grapefruit League. Like, honestly, I'm not big into baseball like that. I'm going to go and like, hey, I want to watch these minors. You can't give me Reading Phillies tickets or the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs because I know that none of them are any fucking good, and they're not going to come up to see. They're not going to be on the Phillies roster.
No,
because they would have been already.
Yeah, like
if they're ever any good. Why the fuck am I going to go see this bullshit?
To talk about the guy, you're not driving out to Lehigh Valley to watch Stubbs.
Yeah,
catch you're the. So that to me is that, and that's a whole nother conversation about like minor league baseball. But like I don't understand why you need Grapefruit League, Rookie League, Single A, Double A, Triple A. Why do you need to have 5 rosters of 30 guys deep to develop? To let's be honest, out of all of those, like, do you really need? Like, you could have like the traveling roster of like 35 guys.
There needs to be like a pool,
right?
And have like a waiver system. That's how it should go.
But you really don't need.
You don't need
You don't need the better part of 250 guys per organization.
Yeah. So 200. Let's do the math. There's 30. How many teams? 30 teams.
Yep.
30 times. So that's 7,500 players.
Right. That are playing minor league baseball.
That are playing minor league baseball.
That are hoping that on their best day, that they're getting a cup of coffee in the majors. So
let's say seven of them come up this year and are good. So seven. So 7,500.
We're a part-time math.
0.9.
0.9.
0.9%.
Yeah. So
not even a full 1%. That's 0.9% of players are going to make it.
Hey, Rich, I'm with you on this one.
I just don't understand it, and I'm sorry for derailing the podcast. It just is one thing. I understand some teams have a plethora of farm systems and players, and maybe I'm jealous. I'm a lot jealous. I'm not going to lie, but there has to be a better way. You could do, okay, we have a 3-guy draft, and then the Phillies, the Braves, the Mets, and Marlins, their best prospects, that's a team, right? You have your 3 guys on that team. They have their guys. Maybe you carry 7. So you have 28 guys on the team. You play ball. You go around, you play the other, like you just have like 6 teams. And you constantly are playing, constantly playing.
Yeah.
And then you have a bunch of different coaches coaching them, developing them. And then it's like, okay, these are your guys. And then at the end of every year, if these guys don't get called up, then they all go into a pool. And more guys can be added to the pool. You can – exactly. But it's every year. It's like, okay, if this guy doesn't get called up to your roster this year, then, okay, now the whole roster pool besides you do your X amount of time. Say they have to be on an MLB roster for a quarter of the season. Or let's say, just say 25 games. They have to be on a roster. Oh, thanks, Adam. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. 1 year with the beautiful lady. 1 year with the beautiful lady. But why can't they do that? Like, just keep Rule 5ing it. Because if players are, I understand it's the cash, but how are teams really making that a lot of money off of minor leagues?
I don't know that they're making a lot of money, Rich, but they're making money.
But they're also losing fans left and right because baseball is just falling.
So I heard something. I was listening to the Baseball Tonight with Buster Olney, and they were talking about comparing in some of the minor leagues, they started to use the pitch clock. Right? Because that is something that's come up in terms of the length of the game and how that affects how interested people are in watching and staying with the game.
Yeah.
And the games that were games that had the pitch clock implemented versus the ones that didn't were about 20 to 25 minutes shorter than the ones that didn't have the pitch clock. Now, to me, that's reasonable, right? You're shaving off, a half hour of what would be time. And to me, I look at it and I say, if a guy knows that he only has a certain amount of time to pitch, the guy's not stepping out. He knows he's there's no time that's lost.
No.
In people just standing around. So that's something to consider. But it's got to be a better way.
I agree, Don.
Got to be a better way.
And that's all I got to say about that.
So, agreed. The 4 hour, 9 inning games are I don't think it's reasonable for any human to day after day invest 3-4 hours into.
That's why when I go to Phillies games from now on, I'm only doing standing room because
you walk around. Yeah,
I can walk around because the only time I had Diamond Box the Diamond Club seats it was a 7:05 game. It started at 7:30. Clay Buchholz was pitching. It was the only game he pitched for the Phillies that season.
That's a bust out.
I think he got shelled for 11 runs in the first inning or something like that. It was 13-2 in the second. We left in the bottom of the third. It was 9:45.
Jesus Christ.
The bottom of the third, it was 9:45. So it was 2 hours and 15 minutes from the first to the third inning. I'm like, we looked at each other, like me and Jamie were like, we both got work, dead ass. Like, I'm out. I'm like, fuck this. This is terrible. And I'm like, those games, like, just take it out of you. Because sitting there watching that shit is just like, you could give me a club seat for free, and I'm just want to like, no, I want to shoot myself or get the fuck out of here because this isn't worth my time. But that's baseball, though. Sometimes the games are worth it, and then sometimes it's like, fuck, why'd I waste my time buying this?
Yeah, like,
well, it's for the experience. It's like, nah, dude, no. I don't go to watch my team lose. Like, I don't have fun doing that.
And there's not enough action to stay for 3.5 hours. Like,
to keep you there.
We normally buy the bleacher seats above Ashburn Alley.
Yeah.
So it's like we can go sit, we can walk. If the kids want to go do wiffle ball, or if they want to go walk around, we can go walk around and just go stand in different spots. The bullpen's right there.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to stick around. Like today's a day where
you stick around.
You gotta stick around, and that to me was what a great way to like cap off this homestand. Now they go down to Washington and they're going to play 5 with the Nats. So, I think as long as they can keep winning series, Rich, I think it's a good place to be. It's better than them the way that they started the season.
We'll reconvene in 2 weeks and we'll see how we're feeling.
Absolutely. Yes, Mike, they do standing room only. Yes. Rich.
Yes.
Let's do something fun. Summer movie.
Ooh, summer movies.
Now there is a common theme that if you listen to this show before, you know that there's something that both of our kids are interested in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Give me your official review.
Did you go, Don? Did you say it?
We did. Now I have a funny story for this. I got to shout out my kid who his birthday is in February.
Awesome.
He waited. I said, well, what do you want to do for your birthday? He goes, I want to go see the Jurassic World movie. I was like, it's in June. He goes, yeah, no, I'm good. That's what I want to do. My man waited 4 months.
That's awesome.
To go
Kip is a trooper, dude.
I'll tell you what, but we went, Rich. We did the movie tavern.
Oh, nice.
We had the recliners.
We're at Collegeville?
Right in Flowertown. Actually, right down the corner. Right. It's actually 2 minutes from our house.
Oh, nice.
But, Rich, screen bigger than your house.
Of course.
The speakers coming out of your ear, man. It was incredible. It was a great and it was a great movie. It was long though, 227. It
was that long.
227.
Wow! It did to me. It didn't seem it. It really didn't seem that long.
It did not at all.
It seemed like it was an. I would say I thought it was like an hour and 45 tops, because to me it did not seem that long. I was fully engulfed in that movie. So my official review of Jurassic World Dominion. It got some really bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Terrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. But here's the thing about movie critics. When they want to pick something apart, they pick it apart for like story. When I go and see Mortal Kombat in the movie theaters, I'm not looking for great dialogue. I'm not really focused on a plot.
No.
I am focused on the part of the story that I want to see, fighting. So what did I want to see in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World? Dinosaurs. I wanted to see how they assimilated the dinosaurs into real life, like scenarios that are kind of, what would happen if people did get their hands on these dinosaurs, or they fall into the wrong hands. I'm not going to give out spoilers, but the action was awesome.
It was awesome.
The imagery and the scenery was great. I honestly did like the plot though, Don, with the like the GMO, when they genetically altered the one thing that was taking everything out.
Yes. And
I did like that, because it's like, oh shit. And then he's like, oh, well, what are they not eating? Oh, the biosync ones, or the biosync ones. It's just like, So it just shows you, like, if you get your hands on that, like, DNA modifications and if it fell into the wrong hands, what could it do and the impact and the disaster? Because it does. It shows humanity at its worst, but then it kind of shows humanity at its best and what they're trying to do for, like, the dinosaurs who are being, like, bred. Because that's like it would be a fucking thing. I mean, we have that problem with dogs. We have that problem with other types of animals being bred and sold for fighting or whatever it is. I'm like, oh shit! Like, to me, it was extremely interesting. I thought it was really cool. Like, I walked out of the movie and I'm like, I'm happy. I thought it was way better than Fallen Kingdom because I thought Fallen Kingdom fucking sucked.
Listen, I love the CGI. To me, was incredible.
Oh, it was top notch.
You had no idea that any of the stuff that you saw was not real.
No.
So I loved the action scenes, the way that they were able to integrate that into the storyline. I agree, kind of closed the loop in terms of it didn't leave it kind of open-ended for another movie. I think it's time to kind of put a bow on all of it. But to speak to what you're talking about, the whole science part of it got me I was locked in on, like, all right, now you're talking about genetically modified DNA, and it kind of circled back to, some of the early raptor DNA where how they designed, where they had Blue got a specific type of DNA that allowed that because that species can how do I say this?
They're asexual.
They're asexual, so they can reproduce without a mate. So that
it's like, basically having your own clone. Like, you have identical DNA because you're not sharing it or mixing it with anything else. Like, I thought that was absolutely, dude. I thought it was cool. Like that all that stuff.
I'm like, all right, wait, they got this from here, and I was locked into all that, so I really loved that aspect of it. I love the fact that, like, you got to see that, you got that penultimate scene, you got that ultimate scene at the end.
Yeah,
Nintendo's where I won't give it away, but
I know what you're talking about.
But somebody dies.
Yeah, someone dies.
Someone very large dies.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is, though, Don? Because I do a lot of reading in dinosaur books, because me and Ollie read. And so we're going to talk about this because the main antagonist was the Giganotosaurus. And it is the largest predator, meat eater that ever walked the earth. Correct. But it was also one of the most primitive ones.
Yeah.
So here's my problem with that. That thing would have been dumb as fuck. That thing would have been super fucking dumb.
Also true.
So that's like saying, okay, you're bringing in, all right, now we're getting nerdy. Tyranotitan, the first T-Rex, bigger than the T-Rex by about like 15 feet.
Right.
Had a completely unevolved brain, unlike the T-Rex who came 100 million years later. If they fight, which one's going to win? The bigger one or the one that's more?
Right.
Like, that's what I looked at. I'm like, kind of like, man, this thing's like whooping ass. But I'm like, this shit's dumb as fuck. Like, it's a stupid ass dinosaur. T-Rex seems a lot smarter than this guy. Yeah, and you see that, which is why I loved it. Which is why I loved it.
Yeah.
You see that at the end of the movie. It was so good. It was so good. Like, the more I'm talking about it, like, the more I'm getting hyped because I'm like remembering things from the movie. Because after we left the movie, like, Ollie was tired. We were tired. Because Ollie sat through it like a champ. Like, he did great. And it's just long. And we're like, what's the best part? And it's like the fighting. I'm like, yeah, and the dinosaurs, yeah. And I'm like, I really like the plot. But I was like so tired after seeing it. So I don't know if I had like just like movie fatigue like coming out. I couldn't get like all amped up. But like the more I think about it, I'm like, it was a really good fucking movie. Like it hit everything that I needed to. For me, I'm not a critic. I don't care about the story. I like the story. I like the science aspect. But I just liked seeing the three old characters interact with the three new characters.
Right.
And it was fun. Like, it was just a fun ride. Like, it was just fun. And when you go to the movies, you don't want to sit there and be bored and, oh my God, the dialogue was amazing and their conversations, oh, that's the best part of the movie. It's like, no, I want to be on a thrill ride. Like, I want dinosaurs chasing people. I want to see fucking people get eaten. I want to see some crazy shit. They're dinosaurs. I want to see them be dinosaurs.
Right, and there wasn't a lot of downtime in the movie either.
No, which was good because they had always something going on, which I like.
When you've got a 2.5 hour movie, you need to keep that pace up. There can't be those lulls in between, which there wasn't. So
it was good.
So, Rich, the other movie that people are talking about.
Yes.
Have you seen Hustle?
I did see Hustle, and I liked it. I thought it was you were talking about it on last show. Mm-hmm. So when Jamie was away. Yeah, then that was that was good. Especially the Goldblum waving the flare again. Mm-hmm. I was like, he's so old. Don't break a hip. I love Jeff Goldblum. But no, Hustle was good. Can I say? I can say I fast forward probably 15 minutes through the movie because I had to. Because some of the dialogue and the workout scenes were just way too repetitive, and I don't enjoy movies when it's like every other scene is like a workout scene. Because it's like you know what the progress is going to be.
Right.
I wish there was a little more backstory with whatchamacallit, Bo.
Right.
And a little more background with Sandler. Because it's like, at the end, all right, I don't give a fuck. Spoiler. If you haven't seen Netflix, it's free. You find out that he drove drunk and hit a pole and ruined the chances for, I forget what school he played at.
He played at Temple.
Temple. Was it Temple?
It was. He was.
All right, good.
He was at Temple.
That's right. 2-2. Deuce. Yeah, at Temple, and he ruined their and I'm like, okay, I get it. But like he did 6 months. Then it's like, it's weird. He's like blackballed for it, but people still love him. And I'm kind of like the dude who plays like the dickhead owner's son. You just knew he was going to be a dickhead. You knew the daughter was going to be the good one, have to come in and save the day.
Right.
I'm like, some things were predictable, but I liked the overall story of it. The story aspect of it was good.
I was going to say, I did enjoy the storyline of it. I did like. It
was a great story.
And seeing a lot of familiar places, right? Seeing the scene wherever they were shot, whether they were in Manioc or whether it was at Girard College or, in and around the city. It to me.
The Lowe's right on Market.
Right. Like you saw a lot of familiar places, which, for me, as someone who grew up in this town, right? You enjoy seeing your city, and it was cool in that aspect. In a really, really good way.
I was mad as shit at the ending, though.
Yeah, spoiler alert, right? The ending of the movie turns out to be a lot like the reality of the town, in a sense where they had.
That's what pissed me off. I'm like, yup.
They had an opportunity to get this guy when he would have been free. And you miss out on that opportunity.
And then who the fuck gets him?
And then he ends up in Boston.
Fucking so mad. So mad at that part. I'm like, he would end up in Boston.
Like, listen, and Rich, even in the alternative reality of Hollywood, we still blow the opportunity to get the good player.
Yeah. Well, when you had that douchebag being the owner.
Right.
That's what happens. Like, I loved, and it's great because Robert Duvall was the dad before he passed, right? And he's always good in everything. And it sucks that like he passed like early in. But Leon, fucking Kenny, like
listen, the relationship between him and Adam Sandler in the movie.
Yeah, that was great. I like when he's talking about the titties. Like, go come on, turn around, look at the titties. He turns around and it's just like an old man and an old fat man and his wife. And he goes, "Those are your titties." He's like, "Yep, those are definitely my titties." And like, I'm just like, that shit was funny. I liked seeing Anthony Edwards play Kermit. Like, that was cool.
Anthony Edwards played that role to a T.
He did.
The trash talking I heard a lot was some of the ideas that they got for the trash talking was from game tape, like his actual trash talking when they have him like mic'd up. But he played that role incredibly well.
Yeah, the pickup game at the end, like to get him to where he was. Like that was cool seeing Trey, seeing Jordan Clarkson.
I think the part that
Aaron Gordon.
I loved how they incorporated all the old guys, the current guys, and their roles in like whether it was in a pickup game or whether it was just guys that played different roles. But like the call back to a lot of the older players was was nostalgic. I thought it was cool that they also incorporated some
owners.
of the what's up?
Like some of the owners.
Some of the owners, but like the
Dr. J.
There was Dr. J, but they had like there's some of the street ball guys.
Oh yeah,
they had some of those guys in there.
The professor was teaching them handling. Mercedes was in there. What was this? Showtime. There was a bunch of those dudes were. I'm like that was cool shit.
And speaking of basketball and hoops movies, Rich, if you have not had an opportunity to go see the latest 30 for 30 about the M1 mixtape, and it's called The Greatest Pickup Game Ever.
Okay.
Should be on ESPN.
All right. And it should be. It'll probably be on.
It's a really, really
good
ESPN
Plus. It'll probably be on ESPN Plus.
Into like the whole backstory of the N1 mixtape.
I would like to see that because I used to watch that all the time.
Well, it's a quick watch. It's only like an hour long.
Yeah.
It goes back to like those first mixtapes where like they literally were just standing there at a court just with a camcorder. And then they take it to a DJ and the DJ just watches the mixtape, just watches the highlights and is making and is just mixing the tracks.
That's awesome.
Literally just dubs the music over top of the VHS tape. And then they sell it they're selling VHS tapes out of like a sneaker store in New York City.
That's awesome.
That's
I'm gonna have to check that out because I always enjoyed the M1 mixtape.
Most definitely.
My Hustle, I'm gonna say I give Jurassic Park 5 out of 5 stars because I loved it. Hustle, I'll give it 3.5 out of 5.
All right.
Too much exercise montage. It fucking kills me. Like we get the whole Rocky story behind it.
You took the word.
Like we don't need to pay that much homage to it. We understand he's training hard. In those stories, like the dramedies and the comedies, I do need a little more story. Like I felt like I was playing like my player on 2K and how it's like you don't get enough from your character and you wish there was more storyline.
Gotcha.
That's what I felt like I was missing from that movie.
Yeah, you could have gotten a little bit more out of that, like if you played more into the Queen Latifah, Adam Sandler relationship.
Yeah, because there was nothing even about that. Like there was like
there were a handful of lines, but nothing.
Yeah,
that really
handful of lines, but like no scenes like really like prove to me that like they were married or like even remotely happy. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just weird. It's just like, oh, this is my wife. How'd you meet? Sat next to her on a bus. I told her I was going to marry her one day. She thought it was crazy. And that's it. Then she's at the game and she's waving to him at the end. And I'm like, this is so fucking weird. I'm like, we know jack shit about this dude besides he's loved by everybody in the NBA.
But can't catch a break from anybody.
Can't catch a break. So you know there's a backstory. You know he's got a fucked up hand. So you got to know it's got to be something serious. But let's wait till the last like 25 minutes to say something. But I'm like, build that story though. Like you got to, like I get it. It's two underdogs trying to make their name. But give me more of a story. Give me 20 more minutes of story and 15 minutes less of the running up the hill scene every fucking day and the ball handling. Then it's a good movie. Because then you can do a 5-minute montage at the end of the movie or wherever where you show his progress and it's all great. Like you don't need to build that up.
No,
sorry, that's it. 3 out of 5.
No, okay. Yeah, listen, the Jurassic World, I would give that was a 5 out of 5 for me. Hustle, maybe 4 out of 5.
Okay.
So
I'm not mad at it though. Not mad at all. Good call.
All right, brother. Final thoughts. What do you got?
Oh, man, my final thoughts. I don't really have anything compelling for tonight. I would just say we have 6 days till the official start of summer.
Ooh.
Get outside, people. Have some fun with the fam. Enjoy the summer. because it flies and it's over real quick. So make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you plan a few day trips. Make sure you stay safe. Gas is going to be astronomical this summer. So try to make them quick. If you had to work a little extra to get that gas money, do it. Have some fun. It's summertime, baby. It's summertime. You got 6 days till the summer solstice, and you got 5 days till your boy's 33rd birthday.
Ooh.
Right? And Don, another final thought for me. Happy Father's Day, my brother.
Wow.
I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it's good.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
I don't know what you have planned, but I hope you enjoy it. I have nothing planned besides softball, and then I'll come home and see my son and my wife. And then we just, and that's all I need, dude. I'm good. Sit by the pool all day.
I think that you kind of took my thoughts, right, Rich? The idea of, shout out to whatever your male role is.
Shout out to all you dads, biological and non-biological, because non-biological dads, you're the ones who chose to be a father.
Right.
You're the one who chose to be a dad, and that is commendable, and I respect you, and you're a fucking good man for doing that. So don't feel that maybe they're not yours, but you took on that role, as Don was saying, you're a big man for doing that and stepping up. It takes a special person to do that. So
shout out to, with Father's Day on Sunday, shout out to dads, stepdads, granddads, pet dads, whatever your role is.
Nah, fuck pet dads. I don't play that game.
You and I are pet dads. Come on.
Stop, Don, because I'm not saying Happy Mother's Day to I'm a dog mom. Fuck you. That's not a human. Like, you can leave your pet alone for 12 hours and you can't get charged for fucking neglect and child abuse. Okay? I leave my kid alone for 2 minutes. He'll fucking eat a shit ton of chocolate, probably shit on my floor, and then use his fake iPhone to call the cops. I don't know how he would do it, Don, but he would do it, and I'd be in jail. So all you dog moms and dog dads, fuck you. You're not real dads. You want to be a real fucking pet dad? Get a fucking fish. If you can keep that bitch alive longer than 2 weeks, I'll call you a pet person, because those things fucking die quick. You got to know chemistry, and you got to balance your water. Prove me wrong, motherfuckers. Sorry, Don. Carry on.
7 fish from school.
Carry on, Don. Carry on.
Oh, so
happy
Father's Day to anybody out there who shares a dad role. The idea that you provide that male role model is something, so if you're out there, good luck in terms of providing the best type of knowledge that you can for your kids.
We need more male role models. We need more father figures. Definitely. So we commend you all for stepping up to the plate, because it's not an easy task. Not many people want to do it. So thank you for being good dads.
And listen, before we head out, Rich, shout out to Lots of Rain, Team Clicks, Shocked, Streaker Sports. We're really thankful for our sponsors. If you want to head over to the link tree that's in our bio, you'll see all the codes, all the things to do if you want to be out there and support us.
Tiki Live!
We're on Tiki Live tomorrow at noon, on Saturday at noon. Jason and I and Joe are going to try to put together a kind of wrap on the season tomorrow night to talk about the Stanley Cup, but also kind of put a wrap and maybe talk a little Flyers coaches. So, are
you guys going to play taps? You need to play taps and wear black. Just saying.
Okay. We probably we've already played taps multiple times. So, listen, if we have to put them down,
play Ave Maria. Get everybody crying.
Ave Maria.
Ave Maria. That's when they always play when they bless the casket.
Stop.
You got to do the opposite. You got to play some Black Sabbath or something. Because
I'm sure Jason's got it in his catalog.
He's got something good for you.
Oh, Rich. On that note,
Philly, you stuck around, you fucked around, and you found out. Fuck you, Spike Eskin. Fuck you, Sean Watson. To all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Keep doing you. And dog parents are not real parents. Love you.